Now, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That's a saying that certainly doesn't ring true, actually, for Robbie Williams. He's been talking about his feud with the Gallagher brothers. Robbie recalls Noel saying he was, and I quote, the fat dancer from Take That, an insult that Robbie says still hurts him to this day. So what do you think about that? You know, have you had insults that have kind of stayed with you, stuck with you over the years?
Well, yeah, I think as a child, what you're told as a child, because you're such a sponge at that age, aren't you? You're taking everything in. It stays with you and it causes the most harm. And once it's said at that point, if you take it on as truth, that's it, you believe it. So for me, I was, you know, I was the fat one in the band, so I can totally empathise with where Robbie's coming from.
And who said that to you? Like,
oh, you know, stylists and, you know, hair and makeup teams and, you know, record companies.
What size were you?
But the thing is, at my biggest, I was like a size 12 to 14.
That's normal.
It's normal, right? I was just a normal girl. But at that point, you know, when you're a teenager, it's at that point where you're forming those kind of beliefs of yourself and you're trusting what other people say because you've got no clue at that kind of age. You're impressionable. So, yeah, that really did stick with me, and it did make a big difference on how I saw myself. And it took a long time before I recovered, and obviously went down, spiraled down all kinds of different directions with, you know, eating disorders and all kinds of things to try and make myself skinny because that's what I thought.
Did you? Really thought I need
absolutely.
To not eat.
Yeah, absolutely. I did all those kind of things. But also, just as a child, I used to, at school, unfortunately, when I was about 5 or 6, I remember it quite vividly. When I started my primary school, I was looking for my satchel and ended up down the toilet. Somebody, you know, one of the other children had flushed it down the toilet just because I was black. And I remember thinking, you know, like it was a satchel that my mum had bought, you know, for my first day at school, and I was really proud of it, and I loved it, and I found it flushed down the loo. So it's really tough, I think, when you're told things as a younger person or even as a young adult, they really do stick with you. So
and
really
do you think you're over that now, being called the fat one in Eternal? Or do you still have kind of body issues?
No,
do you
if
think,
I'm really honest, I still think I still view myself as somebody, you know, I do really think about my weight and how I look, definitely.
Yeah, so that's really stayed with you.
Yeah,
there's absolutely
100%.
nothing wrong with how you look. You look amazing.
But no, yeah, definitely, if I'm honest, yeah.
Judi, I mean, it can have such a long-term effect. You know, Robbie's saying he's an adult now and very successful in his career, but those, you know, that feud he had with the Liam and Noel Gallagher has stuck with him and really knocked his confidence.
Look, I've had so many names, whether it's come to my complexion, being called, you know, darky or blackie, or being called the N-word, or, you know, frog eyes, and, you know, the ultimate one is fat. Any argument probably when I was younger that I got into, that would be the first thing they'd use. And I think as I've got older, it probably did knock me when I was younger, but as I've got older, I try to always use any adversity to my advantage, and I think it's done quite well for me in that. The reality is I'm a big girl, I'm a fluffy girl, you know, I'm always going to be a bit of a meaty girl, but I try to not let anybody else's point of view kind of affect me. I think what will affect me is my own internal thought about myself. So, you know, if I'm not feeling great in that clothes, I try to make sure the clothes it fits to my shape. If I'm not feeling good about my hair, I make sure, you know, I do it in a way where I feel beautiful and accept myself. But name callings, they will always have you. I remember the first time I was called the N-word, I was maybe like 5 years old, and I was bending down doing up my mum's shoelace, and someone drove past and shout out, and I never knew what it meant. So hearing that for the first time and then learning all the stuff that comes with it, of course that will have, like, you know, a lifelong effect. But like I said, any adversity, I always try to bring it into a positive light. And look, you know,
Judi,
the fat girl's here.
Judi, babe, what would you say to your younger self now? Like, now that you feel this way about yourself, what would you say to your younger self?
I'd say to my younger self now, you are enough. You are enough. You are beautiful. You are intelligent. You're funny. You're caring. And just know that the love you have outweighs any physical things that makes you feel insecure, and you are enough.
It's easy, Judi, isn't it, to say that, Janet, as an adult, because we've all matured and we care less, maybe a little bit less about what people think of us. But
well, I had the opposite problem because I was called olive oil. I was absolutely skinny. I was like a bag of bones. And the big problem I have is I couldn't grow anything above my waist. So I was the last girl at school with a bra. And that scarred me. But haven't we all had the last laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think back now,
Yes,
at all those
yes.
nasty comments, look at us now. Who's laughing now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Think to
bet all
that.
those kids that were horrible
Come
to
on.
us, what are they doing? So let's end on a positive
You know
note.
who you are. You know who you are.
Yeah.